Hello everyone. Welcome to another live session in Microsoft Fabric with Merdad. So I'm super excited to start this video, this event, which is related to business, actually real-time intelligence, real-time analytics, and Fabric. So before sharing my screen, let me see some items. For those who just joined to our live sessions, we are in the sixth session now. We already had 5 sessions. You can just watch them in the YouTube channel, and yeah, it is available there. And if you have any question, you can just comment there or reach me out in LinkedIn. Then we can just have a chat there and talk about these stuffs. Cool. Let me share my screen and this one. Awesome. Cool. As always, I'm still Merda, and I'm Microsoft MCP. I recently became a Microsoft Learn expert. That's a good achievement, actually. Nice achievement for myself. That is going to just motivates me to continue stronger and with more energy. It is my LinkedIn account. You can just let's get in touch, and also the other socials. You can also join our LinkedIn group, which is related to Learn Microsoft Fabric. There we can share our experiences, and if we have any updates regarding Fabric, we just talk about Fabric there, of course. As I mentioned, we have completed 5 sessions in Fabric, and we are now in the 6th session, which is actually basically we are still in the build edition Microsoft Learn Challenge that is going to be completed in June 21st. I think less than 10 days. Let's see what it does have for us. And just write for me, even if you're watching it afterward, just how far you are with your challenge. Have you completed that? If yes, just let's discuss that. How was it? And if there was any difficulty, let's discuss it. Today, we are in this session number 6, which we talk about real-time intelligence in Microsoft Fabric. And the module that we are going to cover is get started with real-time intelligence in Microsoft Fabric from the Microsoft Learning Path. Cool. Sorry. What we are going to learn today from this module is basically we are going to describe the real-time intelligence in Microsoft Fabric. You will be able to create event house databases and tables using KQL database. And also, we are going to just walk around the components in real-time hub in Fabric, and also using KQL to query tables and create query sets. First of all, let's see what is the real-time intelligence in Microsoft Fabric. It is basically a solution that is going to provide us with an end-to-end streaming solutions for high-speed data analysis. So it is very optimized for time series data, and it is supporting automatic partitioning when the data is going to be stored in the database. And when we are basically working with that raw data even, and it is going to be indexed for any data format. And it is also integrated with other components, other experiences in Microsoft Fabric, right? And which you can just start from data loading to data processing and also data visualization. Some examples can be Internet of Things and log analytics in many scenarios like manufacturing, oil and gas, and automotive. And there's a lot of examples that we can bring when something, for example, happens in one database or in a folder in your blob storage. It is going to be detected, and also it is going to be streamed into the real-time hub, and then it can be basically processed. What we can do by using real-time intelligence in Fabric. So we can ingest data from various sources in any format, including structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. Actually, we can import the data with by default streaming that provides high performance, low latency, and high freshness data analysis. The imported data is going to be will undergo the default partitioning, as I mentioned, and that partitioning, the default partitioning that is existing in real time, is on both time series and actually and hash-based partitioning. For those who don't know about the hash-based one, it is basically a technique for dividing the data into smaller pieces in storage. And then we will have some indexing and pointing to those, smaller size of the data. And it is going to be indexed, as I mentioned. You can work with actually versatile data structures that is basically going to provide you with the opportunity to work with any format of the data, right? Structured one, semi-structured, or even processing the free text. So and then you can just run analytic queries on raw data without creating data model for them, as we did in for example, data warehouse or in the data lake. And there's no, sometimes there's no need for the transformation. You can directly work on the raw data that is streaming into the real-time hub. And of course, you can transform it as well. And it is scalable. You can scale it to an unlimited amount of data. So it is designed to, actually have the high performance for streaming the data, processing that, and visualizing that. So let's move to the next one, which we'll talk about the components of a Fabric, real-time intelligence. Basically, the real-time intelligence is the experience, right? Is a an umbrella on top of the existing components there, right? And where we are going to manage our items is called real-time hub. In the real-time hub, we have the list of our basically components there. As you can see, the data is going to be started somewhere from the data source. We have some limited, data sources now, which we talk about that. But as a short, the data can be ingested and processed. Then it will be analyzed and transformed, and after that, it can be basically stored somewhere for future purposes, or even we act take an action afterward, right? Once something is going to be happening. And there we can monitor our data via the real-time dashboards, or even creating the Power BI reports. And in between, so I mentioned that we have the event stream, right? The event stream is basically for collecting the data and in the event stream, we can collect the data, transform it, and just route it to a destination. That destination can be a database like KQL, or like Lakehouse, and even it can be directly go to the Reflex. Reflex is basically a component of data activator experience in Fabric. We will talk about them more in detail. Here is basically the explanation of the previous slide, that we have three steps. We are ingesting and processing. We use the event stream, as I mentioned, to collect, change, and send the data to different places automatically. And it is basically a mini factory. We have created the data factory before, right? And the data factory experience, we have created the pipelines, or even the data flows. So it is a mini factory to process the data from reading and transform it, and then store it in the in our database, in our data storage. And in order to analyze and transform it, we've got the event house in the previous slide. If I go there, we've got the event house in middle that basically is going to be a large library of data that is going to be actually managing the KQL databases. What is the KQL databases? We'll talk about that, but as a short, it is Custo database, which is basically designed for high volume data, designed for working and processing the big data. And also we have the data visualizations. In the data visualization section, we can just use the KQL query sets that is supporting SQL and T-SQL functions. We can have the real-time dashboards, which is a tile-based dashboard of the insights, and then we can have the Power BI reports. And in the Act section, in the third one, we have the Reflex. Reflex, as I mentioned, is related to the data activator, and it is still in preview, but you can, with that, you can monitor data sets, queries, and event streams to trigger some actions, or even a Power Automate, series of flows to just kick off. So we mentioned that we have source, processing. Processing is optionally, of course. Source, processing, and destination, right? It is very normal in every individual, data solution. So the data is starting from a source. We have the event stream for event stream components in the real-time hub to actually, that is providing us with actually gaining access to all active event streams within Fabric. We have a concept, actually some capabilities, some categories of the capabilities that is going to change our direction. We've got the standard capabilities and also enhanced capabilities that is providing us with in the enhanced one, with more options for sourcing the data, or even for destination of the data, and how we can utilize, for example, the transformation section of this event stream. For example, in for source, we can have a list of sources like Microsoft in the Microsoft category. These are in the standard one. Azure Event Hubs, Azure IoT Hub, Change Data Capture, which is in the enhanced one, that you can actually use the Azure SQL DB, just monitoring and looking for the data in that SQL DB. For example, we can just specify the table names, what tables you're monitoring for changing the data, right? It is going to be streamed in your real time. Actually, will be streamed in your event stream, and you can just process that. You can have that CDC for Azure Cosmos DB and also PostgreSQL. In order, another type of source is the Fabric events. When any changes is going to be happened within Fabric in the workspaces, right? For example, something is happened to an item in workspace. It is created, added, or something is happened. There are some events that are going to trigger this streaming. Even we can bring our, custom app or custom endpoint into Fabric, right? Where we want to read the data from that endpoint, from that API. So your application or Kafka clients, can connect to event stream to ingest data there. There are also other sources that are in the enhanced, section, enhanced category, like Google Cloud Publisher Subscriber and Amazon data streams, and also Azure Blob Storage events. I think it is good to just let's have a look at it and in the portal itself, right? Let's create something. Let's start with real-time intelligence, and let's create an, for example, event stream, right? Let's call it DP-600. And the workspace that we are working on is already selected in my site, DP-600 workspace. So let's call it DP-600 event stream 01. Here we can apply actually the enhanced capabilities, right, which is in preview. And so let's create it. Takes a little bit time to load that that one for us, but just please note that when we create something in real-time intelligence, the real-time hub is going to be visible here, that we can just from there see whatever that is added there, right? And I mentioned that we can have some sources, right? From there, I choose, selecting an external data source, and there we can see the data sources, but we can have some categories here. For example, for Microsoft sources, we've got the Azure Event Hub, Azure IoT Hubs. For the CDC, we have the databases here. MySQL is already added, but which was out of my list, right? So we have Azure SQL DB, Azure DB for PostgreSQL, MySQL DB, fantastic, and also Azure Cosmos DB. And we can also have the Fabric events, that is basically working with the workspace items, which is going to just monitor the changes there, right? And we have the Azure Blob Storage events. These are the sources. If you already have any of these, you can just start it and create your own stream there. You can also use the sample data, and here is another option that we discussed. You can just bring your custom app from outside, right? From outside of Fabric, then you can just it will be a custom endpoint to our stream. You can just provide the name and then continue with the next steps, right? But we will start with sample data. We don't have any at the moment. I don't have any available external source or even custom data, custom endpoint. But for this one, for the sample data, we can make use of the sample data that we have in Fabric, just to play with that, right? For this one, we can say, let's say event house 01 sample data of bicycle. All right. Once you add something there, you can see the data in the event stream. We will talk about that. It is already added. It is a source which is added to our stream, right? We can have multiple sources in one stream, in one event stream, I think. So let's back to our discussion here. The next step, when we have we load the data in the source, the next step will be processing those events, right? As you saw, there's a drag and drop interface in the event stream, and when we are talking about the transformation, it is going to be the next step of that one, right? In the transformation, we've got a list of operations that are going to apply to the input values, input records from the previous previous step, right, which is the streaming itself. So how does this data look like? I know we've got the some IDs, streets, and Latin lang for the geographical position and number of bike, or even number of empty docks, for example, which is monitoring the how many bikes are available and how many empty docks are available there. So for the transformation, we should keep in mind not all of the destinations are accepting the transformed data, and for some of them, we have to directly just route it to the destination. In this scenario, at this stage, the transformation are already available. In the actually, it depends. You are working on the enhanced capabilities or in the standard capabilities. In the standard capabilities, we only have KQL and Lakehouse, but in enhanced capability that we have already selected that when we were creating that event stream, all destinations support the transformation, so we should be good, right? And the operations that we have for this transformation is basically a limited list of this transformation. We've got filter that is going to filter the events based on the values of a field. It is a normal thing, that we all know. We can manage the fields. We can add a field. We can remove that, change the data type, and rename fields, right? And then we can aggregate the data. It is going to calculate an aggregation. Even we can rename that calculated columns, filtering them and slicing the aggregation. We've got the operation of group by, like other group bys in the data concept that is going to calculate an aggregation across all events. All that data set within a certain time window. And we can just union, just basically union the incoming events. As I mentioned, we can have more than one source of the data. So there is the possibility of that one. We can expand the incoming data for the array of the data. If you have an array in a field or in a row, you can just expand that one. Each node of that array that is going to represent as a new row. And we've got the join, like other data management tools. The join is going to combine data from two or more streams, actually, based on the matching condition. So here we've got, as you can see, we've got the fields. Like, for example, here for adding a field or or removing a field. Let's add all of these fields. Even we can make use of other functions if any function is needed there. For example, let's have the date added. I'm not sure if it is going to work or not. And it's complaining about something. Input the parameter. Oh, a parameter is required for this function. Let's, for now, I don't want to add it. For example, in this data set that we have added, we don't have any date column, so it's going to be useless for us. Let's check if everything is going to be there. And it is not going to complain about it. It's giving us an error. What does it say? The operation is missing an output to work. So, as I mentioned, for transformations, right? The transformations are basically, only available for, they are, should be followed by a destination, right? And maybe it was the reason of that failure, that error was because the output was not linked to something. And the destination name, let's just call it Lake House, for example, 05. I'm not sure if I have anything there, but let's call it, yeah, I've got it 04 Lake House from the previous sessions. And you can create a delta table, or you can just append it to an existing one, right? If the data matches the actually this schema to your destination table. Yeah, it is for the destination. We will talk about that, but I want to just touch base on the transformation section. We will back to here as well. So about the destination. So we stream the data in the source, we transform that, and then we want to just add it to a destination, just push it to the destination. Like as I mentioned, we have the standard destination locations and enhanced ones, right? For the standard, we can have that custom app again. Just push the data to your custom app or custom endpoint. We can just push it to our lakehouse, and it is going to be, the data is going to be basically stored in a delta lake format, and it is going to be stored in the lakehouse tables, as we worked on that in the first session. and is basically supporting the data warehouse as well. We can actually choose KQL database as our destination. Then we can load the data there and explore it and analyze it using KQL query sets. We can also have the reflex, as I explained it, in the beginning of the session. And we can also have another type of destination, which is a derived stream, that you can create another stream from there. And that stream is going to, again, it can be transformed, or even it can be, just routed to your destinations. Let's have a look at again, at the destination. From top, we can choose, at source or at destination. For example, let's have, a destination of reflex, for example, right? And we can just drag and drop it, and it can be, connected to this one. For the reflex, it is not acceptable, it seems. But let's add the KQL. Let's see if it is going to, yeah. Here we can have more than one. We can have more than one destination here, right? This one is the KQL, and the same data is going to just sit in different locations, different destinations, which is amazing. Then for configuring the KQL database, you can just ingest the data there. If you already have any KQL, it can be added there, or even you can create it from scratch here, right? Let's create it. It is called, for the lake house. Actually, I didn't create anything in there. The lake house 04 lake house, let's say I will create a new one and say bikes, real-time bikes. We will use the same name for later, and the input data formats will be this. Why it is not showing us? Oh, destination name, lake house destination example is there. And for the KQL, we can create the KQL database, in the other actually components in real-time intelligence in our real-time hub, but we can create it from here as well, right? If there's nothing, and it is a good practice as well. So here we say KQL destination, give it a name, in the current workspace that I am. The KQL database so since there is nothing, we can just say my KQL 01, for example, and we have to create that before actually working on this, right? Type to select, there is nothing there. So we need to create that KQL, and then we'll come back for this one. But when we publish that data, the event stream, we can see the data in the destination. Our destination was the lake house, and let's have a look at it in our workspace. So it was lake house 04. And in the table section, let's see if it is still running. It is still in progress. So while it is still in progress, let's just read something from here. Javier, also reviewing all related modules, and then yeah, awesome. It is good. Good progress. 6 out of 11. But keep in mind, you only have 10 days if you want to complete the if you want to complete it. But that's good. Of course, there are a lot of information and the Microsoft layer, right? And specifically for Fabric, it is growing, right? And it keeps changing every day. When a new thing is happening, is announced by Microsoft Fabric, then the document is going to be added there. Maybe you may have that in your learning path as a new thing, or even the documents itself is going to be changed. For example, I've seen one message somewhere that they the exercise document was not aligned with what we have in Fabric for real time even. Yeah, but good luck with that. Cool. I can see the streaming is completed, and actually the status is streaming from here, from the source, and this process there, and in the destination, right? Let's see if we have the data there. It is not added here yet. Did we choose this guy? Something must be happening in this data, basically, to write that down. Let's check if the data is going to be, we can just open a notebook from there, from your event stream, just work with that, Lakehouse. Let's check if that data is coming through. If not, we can follow the steps that we have in the Microsoft Learn exercise list. But here, let's see what is the problem. Oh, it is only a log, and it says it is successful. Yeah, the data is there now. The artifacts. It took time to get the data in, but we can see the stream data in our lakehouse. It can be utilized. It can be added to a semantic model or whatever that is required, and will be processed, or you can process that afterward. So that's good. That was a good exercise for adding our destination, right? Cool. And as we mentioned, as we saw together, we can have multiple, sources. We can have multiple, destinations. We can have multiple transformations in one event stream, right? And in the real-time hub, we can see the items that we've got there, right? Like this one, sorry, I just, if I can, let me close this one, and I'm in the Power BI experience. I should move to real-time experience, and we can see the real-time hub. In the real-time hub, we can see whatever that is created in our workspace. So the latest one that I've created is here, DP-600 event stream 01, and it is an stream. And an additional of dash stream is going to be added automatically. And but the item that we have is called this, as we have added, and it is basically the data streams. It is not connected to any Microsoft service or Fabric event even, right? And let's move to the next section. Before talking about the KQL databases, I think it is good to just follow the it can be done at the same time actually to follow the instruction in the exercise of Microsoft Learn. But let's talk about the KQL database and tables, and then in the meantime we can just work with those databases as well, with those with that exercise as well. So we understand that Event House is basically a management of a KQL databases. It is an umbrella on top of the KQL databases in real time in the real time intelligence. So we can have more than one, as many, as ones the KQL databases in one event stream, event house. So and KQL database is basically like other databases. We can have tables, functions, and also in the tables and functions, it is very normal. For the tables, we can. It is it is basically containing the set of columns, and it is following a schema. And sorry. And in order to create showing the table and ingesting data, there are some commands, or let's say a syntax of the KQL to perform those tasks. For example, for creating a new table, we can just say that create table and then the name of the table and then list of the columns. We will see that, no worry. If we want to see the table schema, we can say that show and table and then the name of the table. And also the same thing for ingesting data to that table. We can have the functions. The functions are absolutely the encapsulated subquery that is performing something, and it is going to be stored there, and it can be utilized by other KQL queries. In order to create a new function, we can just use the KQL syntax of that create function and continue that. And if you want to see all of the available functions, it is basically that show functions. We have the materialized views, which is basically containing a pre-computed results of a query for faster retrieval of data. So it has a name, it can have parameters and a body of query expression. It is like stock procedures that we have, like that one, but the data is, the result is already, pre-calculated and stored, right? And we can create a new materialized view in KQL, of course, and that creates materialized view and show them like what we have in functions. And we can have also the data stream, right? That is basically a representation of all attached KQL event stream connected to the KQL database. It can be either the destination or the source. So before writing the queries, let's create our first KQL database, and let's see how does it look like, and just walking through the KQL database itself. In the experience of real-time intelligence, we have to create firstly an event house. So we mentioned that, let's back to this slide. We mentioned that the event house is sitting on top of the KQL databases, right? So we need to create an event house. Let's call it event house 01. I'm not sure. Let's DP-600 event house 01 and create it. So the event house is created. We can create our KQL database, right? And say DP-600 KQL 01. And the type can be, the default, or even it can be a shortcut, right? But let's create the KQL here as is, and then we will just load some data. We can load a sample of data into our event house, right? But as you can see, there is no table there, right? Nothing is there. We can start with sample data. That sample data, we can just bring it from stock analytics, which is a good thing, weather analytics, or whatever that can be utilized. For example, let's take the stock one. That is going to just streaming the data from stock market, for example, and it can be analyzed in real-time analysis, right? So it takes a little bit time to create it. While it is busy, let me check some items there. So the data is there. The table is created. The first table, which is going to be created, will be added here. We can have the list of functions. There's no function at the moment for us. And in the data streams, we can see if there is any connected stream to that one. And yeah, that's it. We have created our first KQL database, and this table can be queried like this, right? But let's start it from scratch, right? For basically creating the exploring the data, right? And here I delete everything and start from scratch for querying, right? So KQL and how we can write the queries there, how the syntax is working for this specific one, and where it is basically used, right? KQL is basically a read-only request to process the data and return the result, right? It is not like a transactional one. It is mostly for analyzing the data, right? KQL is already in Azure Data Explorer for those who are familiar with Azure Monitor Log Analytics, and also Azure Sentinel, and now in Microsoft Fabric. Of course, the Azure Data Explorer, the same thing is available in Synapse analytics as well. We've also got the Copilot to provide us, to assist us with, generating the queries based on the prompts that we write for that. But let's just divide our scripts, our coding in KQL in two sections. One section is for table creation and data ingestion, which is something for creating the objects, and we have just checked what were the objects in a database, like functions, materialized views, and so on and so forth. And in the right side, we have the data retrieval, right? When we want to retrieve the data, and how that basically data script and syntax is working. It is not like SQL, of course, and in order to start the data from there, we can start just writing down the the table name, and the table name is here is stock. So when we enter, it is going to ask us for the next operations or the next part of the commands, right? Here we can, for example, say take for I'm capitalized take, which is returning up to the specified number of rows. For example, I can say return 100, right, and then run it. You can just have a look at the data there, right? Or even you can add your where clause here, right? You can say where, for example, a column here which is called open is between, let's say, 300 and 305, and we can just choose that, select that, and run it. It is showing us all the open actually all the stocks with that condition. Even you can just sort that, right, by adding a sort value. Sort by, for example, sort by, let's say, date descending. Here the date is sorted descending. Sweet. Or even we can add it add to this guy, right, in order to basically summarize that, or grouping, aggregating the data. We can just summarize it by let me just double check the syntax. Yeah, we can, in order to summarize, I'm not sure if we can put it here after where clause, but let's check it. Let's say average open value, for example, and then we can say just AVG, for example, and open value by ticker. And of course, the sort is not going to work because here maybe we can add ticker. Yeah, because it is already added to our item. Yep, sweet. Yeah, I hope it works. Yeah, let's we can just save it as a KQL query set, and this one can be utilized for other, for the further analysis. You can create the dashboard on that, or creating a Power BI report, right? Here, let's just call it KQL query set 01 and create it. So once it is created, as you can see, we can pin it to a dashboard or creating a dashboard. and or we can just build a Power BI report on top of that. And in order to see the data, I will delete this section from here, and let's save it. And let's create a Power BI report on top of this. While this one is busy, let's check what we have, what else we have there. Yeah, as I mentioned, when your query is ready, you can just pin the query set to an existing or new dashboard, and or building a Power BI report that which is we are doing. Cool. Here we can bring both, right? And then instead of this guy, we can add a bar chart, for example, and it is average. That it should be average. Should be as is, right? Basically. It's not a good thing, basically, to show. Let's have it as a table for now, because our condition is not the right thing, to be honest. And I just chose it, as it was. But we want to just create this report here, and let's call it DP-600 Power BI 01. For example, in what workspace? The workspace that I'm going to choose, the current one that I have, and that Power BI report is going to be created from that side. We have already, followed the, we have followed the items that I see in the Microsoft Learn exercise, and which is, the KQL to query the sales table, to query the table, and how we can create the KQL, and how we can create a Power BI report from a query set. And of course, that report should be available now in our workspace, right? So in the workspace, let's have it, example, Power BI report. It is not working like this. Let me check. Bring it up. We have the event stream here. We've got the report, not this one. It's not shown yet here. Let's check it in our Power BI. And see if it is added. I cannot find it now. It couldn't be. Did I use choose the right one? Yeah. Let me check something else in our real-time experience, and in our recent items. Yeah, that report is not available here for me. Not sure why. But let's check the event stream that we have. Sorry, not the event stream. I mean the event hub. So it's going to just build it. And let's see what we have in the event hub. In the event hub, we don't see that report. Interesting. We need to just find that report in our workspace. It should be in the workspace if I wrote, just chose the name correctly. And yeah, I cannot find it here. However, in the let me just bring it. Event house 01. So and the KQL event house, it wasn't this, sorry. I have another one. This guy, the KQL database that I have. And from there, the reports, we need to just find out where the report is added. Yeah. Cool. Let's just go for the slides here. And yeah, we have covered mostly the items in our learning module. Of course, the real-time intelligence is a wide actually concept that covers lots of things there. For more information, you can just always refer to the Microsoft Learn documents, and we can discuss more if you have any question, or let's learn together and see what is the capabilities there. So yeah, feel free to go with this knowledge check, and yeah, we can always check the Microsoft Learn documents. Yeah, go for it. Cool. We will wait. I've noticed 4 questions. We can wait for more 2-3 minutes, and in between we can just let me prepare something here for you. Yeah, I wish we had more time basically to go through the more examples, like for example, streaming from the Azure SQL database. I already have the Azure SQL, in my Azure portal, and but actually the time doesn't allow me to go through that. We may create something or hosting a workshop to to go through the those items and discuss it more. Awesome. Javier, BBBA. BBBA. Any more? Cool. Let's go for the answer. It is BCBA. So the as we covered in the query section, when we want to query you write the query in KQL language. Basically, we use take for selecting specified number of records of the rows, and in order to summarize and aggregate the data in KQL, we utilize summarize keyword. it is going, and then after that, it is following a column name for that summarized column, and then by what other columns, right? And the main benefit of using real-time intelligence in Microsoft Fabric is basically this allowing us ingestion of data from, any source in any data format. In our case, we worked with some stack analytics, right? In the Microsoft Learn, it is working with some CSV files, right? But there can be more examples and more experiences. And the role of KQL database in real-time intelligence is basically it is an upper level entity that has a collection of tables, as we mentioned, and we can have functions, materialized views, shortcuts, and downstreams. And well done. You've completed, we have completed another module in Microsoft Fabric learning path, which was on the real-time intelligence. If there's any question, just feel free to write it in the comments. And also if you have it, and afterward, when you're watching the recorded video, it is going to be immediately available in YouTube channel, and then from there you can just rewatch it if you missed something or you joined late to the session. You're more than welcome to rewatch it and share it with your friends if you like that. And so we have completed the session 6, and we already have we have the 2 sessions for next week. In session number 7, which is related to the data science experience in Microsoft Fabric, and also I will add the admin of Fabric course here as well in the next session in Saturday, which is going to be June 15 at 8 a.m. In Pacific Daytime. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for future. Let me just break it here. Yeah, thank you very much for joining again, and feel free to ask questions. We can learn together. We can just learn from each other. If you have experienced something, if you have any difficulties in your process of learning, and we can just resolve it together. And if I don't know, we can just research it on on the community of Microsoft Fabric, ask it, and just reference to Microsoft Learn documents. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. And Javier, thank you very much for joining. And if there is no more comments or question, we can, thank you, Javier, we can just wrap it up. And until the next time, until Saturday, which we will talk about the data science, which is an interesting thing for me. It is very new for me, at least I don't have that knowledge of the data science, but let's see how it does work in Microsoft Fabric, and we can just learn from there. Thank you very much, and until the next time, take care.